What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. You made it. It's the Friday Live with Lauren show. I am Lauren. If you've never been here before, thank you for tuning in. And if you have joined us, you are the reason we are back every single Friday. So thank you for being here. Today, I have an actual LinkedIn top voice on the show with us, like the blue top voice. Sorry for all of you who contribute to those articles that you could say whatever you want and still get the badge. This is somebody that LinkedIn actually says matters. And I'm so excited to have them here with me. And I know they might be annoyed that I said that, but I don't care. This is my show and I can say what I want. And y'all, blue badge or no badge? I'm sorry. Just it is what it is. Okay, a few things we're going to cover today so that you all know before I bring my amazing guest out. Do you know who my guest is? Tag in the comments if you know. I want to know. Also, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So did LinkedIn tell us that we were live? Did they tell you I was live today? Would you share the show for me? Pretty please? With like a sugar and cherry on top or whatever it is, please share the show. Let people know we are live and start telling us, where are you joining us from? If you've never been here before, I am in Boca Raton. That's where this beautiful studio is. This is an actual studio. That's not a fake background. I'm in Boca Raton and I'm going to bring on Gina. Gina, where are you joining us from?
I am joining from Central Oregon in this little tiny town called Sisters, Oregon.
Sisters, Oregon. I love that. I've never heard of it. Okay, we're hearing somewhere new today. We're going to have to pull up on a map. Gina, I want you to tell everyone, because I know who you are. I think you're fabulous. And I know we're going to get into all the topics today. But can you tell everybody in my network who doesn't know you, who is Gina Riley?
Who is Gina Riley? I'm shrouded in mystery, right? No. My name is Gina Riley. I have a company called Gina Riley Consulting, where I primarily coach leaders and executives one-on-one on making an effective career transition plan. And I'm also affiliated with an executive search firm called Talents Group, where I typically am providing our interview prep and skills training to company employees so that they can interview people better. Imagine that, Lauren.
Imagine that. I love it. And y'all, we're going to talk later about more of how we met and what we're doing together. But if you are in the process of interviewing, if you are in the process of needing to level up your career, looking for what's next, this is the episode you need to watch. If you know a job seeker and you do not tag them in the comments right now to come tune in, you are doing them a disservice. Be a good person this Friday and tag some job seekers, because we are going to talk about some awesome topics really quickly. I'm going to run through them. We're going to talk about interviewing 101. Interviewing is important, but a lot of people don't put any thought into, are you interviewing with somebody who's an internal recruiter or an external recruiter? Are they in the company? Is it the actual hiring manager? Is it somebody in HR? Every person you talk to, you need a different kind of approach. We're going to really discuss what that looks like. Then we're going to move into, what is thought leadership, really, y'all? You've all heard it. I want to be a thought leader in my space. And then I know you've all seen the thought leaders who aren't actually thought leaders. And we'll get into that later. Middle of the show, Michelle Craig pops on. We do High Five Friday. We have some awesome people to shout out today. We're going to move into using executive presence to propel your career. Gina's done this. We're also going to talk about understanding your unique value proposition. This is Gina's specialty. I'm just going to shut up and let her talk when we get there. But Gina, I'm just so excited that you're chatting with us today and going over all of this and giving us your knowledge and your expertise. So thank you for tuning in.
Well, thanks for asking me. Just from the first moment we met, it was just like so much to talk about, right?
So much to talk about. All right. I got a few people that said they did get the notification. That's awesome. Good to see you guys. Aaron says the comments are not loading. That's not wonderful. Hopefully LinkedIn
comments. And
that.
hi, Dan, and hi, Lindsay,
Looks
our friends.
David's tagging some people. Thank you. And yes, Lindsay, Dan is here. Andrew already knows what's up. Y'all can tag Sendoso. I haven't even told you yet. We're going to give away some chocolate today. So start tagging #Sendoso. Gina, Lindsay says you're gorgeous. I love her shirt, Lindsay. She looks so pretty today.
I had to bring it. I mean, come on.
Reason, Tampa. And yes, let's go, ladies. Okay, so I know I've already got a couple comments about the chocolate. let's tell the people really quickly. I'll throw that at the bottom. Today we are
Sure.
giving away Harvest chocolate. You do have to give this to someone in the USA. So you can win it anywhere in the world. I'd like to point that out. You have to gift it to someone who lives in the United States. So if you don't live in the United States, you can still win. You just have to give it to somebody in the US. So Harvest chocolate, and
Nice.
Matt Cross is the founder of Harvest Chocolate. He was on the show last year. He's dealing with a very personal journey. Go support him, support Harvest Chocolate. And I think maybe, let's see, was I on top of it today? Oh yeah, look, it's even my face. Harvest chocolate, y'all. Yeah. Get some Harvest chocolate. Okay. So comment hashtag Sendoso to win, and you can have some Harvest chocolate. Gina, are you ready to jump into all the things?
I could not be more ready.
Next time we're gonna have your face up there like that. All right. First topic of the day, probably one of the most important ones. So why we're gonna do it first, so that if you are watching and you got to jump, you can actually tune into this part. But interviewing 101. So Gina, I want you to take us away on this topic, but really hone in on the fact that people need to understand who they're talking to.
Absolutely. What I tell my clients is every single person in an interview process is a decision maker of some sort. Now, how much sway they have, we don't know. But the way that I kind of look at it is there's this funnel. You may first be talking to a screener, so a recruiter who might be even early in their career. I was that person, I'm 25 years old. I was working for Intel. I worked for Intel for about a decade. And I was on the front lines, possibly just finding out if people were meeting those minimum requirements. Was the salary acceptable? The range? Were they willing to relocate? Some of those basic kinds of things, and getting a feel for a person. So, am I a decision maker? Yes. Do I have a lot of sway? Not necessarily. But is that the time that you're going to start blasting your entire unique value proposition at that person, telling them your entire story? Probably not. You need to read the room with every single decision maker. So then there may be that experienced executive search recruiter or in-house recruiter that has a lot of experience and has the direct relationship with the internal client. Well, they're going to be asking you different kinds of things. They'll ask you more nuanced leadership level questions, possibly technical questions. Then there's the hiring manager, then the hiring team, possibly your hiring manager's boss. So there's all these different people. And the most important thing that you can do is be the most prepared person in every room. Check out who you're interviewing with if you can in advance. Go look at their LinkedIn profiles, look at their backgrounds, look at where they were educated. Look and see if you can tell what their interests are. What are they commenting and posting on? All of that makes a difference. And that is how you start to read each room so you customize your message for each person.
Yes, and the message should be slightly different. You shouldn't be saying the same thing over and over again. And if you're in the fifth interview and you're saying the same things you said in the initial screen, there's something wrong, because the conversation should progress
Yeah.
as well, right? So the last person, if the last person you're meeting with is the CEO, they shouldn't be asking the things everybody else asked. Everybody else qualified that. You're past that at this point. So
Mhm.
one, the conversation should be moved on. That's either a red flag that you're not there, or that's a red flag that they're not there. Like, interviews are also going both ways. I still want to point that out right now. There's a lot of companies that are maybe a startup. Maybe they don't really know what's going on the inside yet. They're still building the plane as they fly it, so they say, right? So know what you're getting into, and it is still an interview that's going both ways. Gina,
Absolutely. Oh, you couldn't have said it any better. And it's ironic that we're having this conversation about this specific topic. My next Forbes Coaches Council article that's coming out in the next couple of days came out of an experience I just had with a coaching client. So she went into an interview situation and did all these things that I was saying. She had researched all the interviewers and kind of had looked 6 ways from Sunday what the different angles could be and gamed out what might come at her in each of the conversations. 2 conversations went really well. The third one, guess what happened, Lauren? Terrible. The person comes in harried, hadn't prepared, no questions. This is a leader, by the way, comes in harried, and then the worst possible scenario, starts reading back her resume out loud to her.
Yep.
Doesn't your hair kind of stand up on the back of your neck? So this actually happened.
Mhm.
And so what I did was I created an article with like the 5 top things that you should consider so that you are the most prepared person in the room. Because this happens all the time, even with senior leaders.
Yeah.
And what's the worst case scenario? Those people are going to then make a decision based on their gut feel, which leads to biased hiring decisions.
100%. I mean, Gina, I had something similar happen to me. The very last corporate role I ever interviewed for, I'll never forget. I got through all of the steps. The very last person I'm put in the room. Okay, introductions, left alone. Clearly has never read my resume, has no idea who I am. I don't even think really knows what I'm interviewing for, and looks at me and goes, "So what have you ever sold?" I'm sorry, what? And just immediate the taste in my mouth. I was like, "Do you even know my name, sir?" That was the last corporate job I ever interviewed for. I was definitely like, "We could do so much better than this." And then
So
I started working with a recruiter and got into recruiting, and now look at us. Here we are.
yeah, look at us. I know we're educating other people about what to look out for, right? These are the pitfalls. But really, to the point is, as the job seeker going into these interview scenarios, particularly with these high stakes executive level interview processes that I'm helping people with, there's a lot to navigate, and it's not easy, it's not simple, and it can last months. These processes can literally last months. So the you have to have a lot of patience, and you have to have a lot of stamina, and you have to really be interested in these jobs in order to sustain that to the very end.
Yes. And to that point, I know it's exhausting. I know it's a lot. I know it takes perseverance, but you
Mhm.
have to keep applying. Even if you think you have something in the bag, you have to keep applying. Last week, I was told in the morning, my candidate was getting an offer from someone that I was positive this was happening. By 4 p.m., everything had changed. Nothing was happening. There was nothing I could do about it,
Mm-mm.
regardless of what I said and fought for and how much work had been put into it. And even though everything looked like it was aligned, that candidate still needed to be interviewing, still needed to have their ducks in a row because
Mhm.
nothing is certain until the day you show up and
Mm-mm.
you're like in the office or on the call with your boss that first day and everything is
Mhm.
good and the payroll paperwork has been processed.
No, absolutely. And if you have a job, you're not quitting that job to take the new job until you're sure that even the reference checks have been done and that you're clear, because something could upend that you don't anticipate.
Yes, and that is so true, and it could be something that's, like, got nothing to do with you. I know this is a freak scenario, but I had someone whose identity got stolen and they didn't know it, and then they were going through a background check for an interview and something popped that had nothing to do with them.
Mhm.
That's actually how they found out and started dealing with all of it, but
Mhm.
they almost didn't get this job over everything, and could you imagine if they would have already put in notice and then been out on both ends and then been having to deal with the background check and all of that, like, really couldn't get something new. Oh my goodness. Y'all, you be careful out there. Oh, Tom, you do make a good point. Doctors routinely don't know why their patient came in, but I will say I've been very blessed that my doctor at least takes really good notes. And every time they walk in, they're like, "So last time we did da 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 da," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. I don't care that you really actually don't know because you walked in and you had it down."
That's right.
Tom, you're right. You have nothing to have signed offer letter. Okay. Dan says, I want to hear about Gina's book. And then Andrew said, Gina's writing a book. So, Gina, can you tell us about your book?
Thanks for dishing that up, Dan and gang. Yes, my coaching model is called Career Velocity. It took a couple of years to develop. And then I started writing a book, and I'll be publishing with Advantage Forbes Books in Q2 of next year. The full manuscript is done. They call it a manuscript. And I'm writing the introduction now, which is proving to be the hardest. And then it'll go through a bunch of edits and cover design. And I was going to do a LinkedIn poll to see if people liked the title that we are kicking around. I could share that maybe before we get off.
Yeah, that would be fun. We could let some people comment and say, like, this one or that one.
I
That would
would
be
I
fun.
would love that. I would love that because the phrasing that I use, which is career transition, isn't something that resonates with what Forbes research says on the SEO. And
Okay.
so my husband, who is also an executive, has weighed in and likes this one particular one. So
Okay,
we're
y'all let us
leaning
know. Y'all let us know. Do you want to hear Gina's titles and do we want to vote? Yes or no? We're not going to do it if you don't say yes or no. And then the other thing, I think this is really cool. Gina's writing a book. Tag someone you know in the comments that's an author or is in the process of writing a book. I think that a lot of people have that on their bucket list this year, and I've been super impressed with the people who've put it in motion to get it done.
Oh
And
my gosh, so much work.
I know that was like very off topic, but I'm happy we talked about that. So thanks, Dan, for bringing it up. All right. We're going to get into topic 2. We're almost 20 minutes into the show. Okay. What is thought leadership really? And this is the perfect topic. And I titled it this way on purpose because I am just going to point out one more time that Gina is a real LinkedIn top voice with the blue badge. So, Gina, please tell us, what is thought leadership really? Because we could actually listen to your advice.
Thank you for that. And I will say, when I told my husband on day one, when I got the LinkedIn top voice, I'm like, I'm a blue badge. And he's like, yeah, so he did like no idea. And I'm like, it's a blue badge. It's like the real deal. And it took other people to like call him up and go, oh my God. Anyway, that I digress. So thought leadership, it's one of my favorite topics. So my career velocity model, it's a 9-step model. And the end cap, step 9, is how do you keep your brand and presence alive in your ecosystem so that you build the know, like, and trust factor so people know what they're, finding you for, coming to you for, offering opportunities, whether that's, things like speaking, writing, panels, or job opportunities. So what we really want for people that is to have some kind of presence, and it doesn't have to be flashy. You don't have to do video. You don't have to do one specific thing. But what thought leadership is all about is staking your claim in your ecosystem, starting conversations, and being the water cooler for conversations. So do you have to know every single thing about a topic in order to step forward and be called a thought leader? Absolutely not. I don't know every single possible nuance of career transitions. I know a lot. But if I am going to step out and, venture into a specific topic, let's say salary negotiation, that's not my deepest expertise. I'm going to pull in conversation from the people I know in my network to help, give some wings to those kinds of topics. The same is true as if you're a sales leader. Same is true if you're a technologist, all of that. So one of my current clients, he landed really fast. And so the rest of our engagement together is talking about thought leadership. And I cannot tell you, he's dragging, kicking, screaming. No, I can't do it. And, I'm not sure if what I have to say is really that unusual or unique. And so this was the question I asked him, because he's a senior technology leader. I said, okay, so you're leaving a company, leading a couple hundred people. Is there anyone in your company who can now step into your role as you go into your new one? And he said, no, I don't. I'm like, well, don't you think that you have plenty to be putting out in your ecosystem that help groom and grow the talent of the future? So you're sharing your wisdom and expertise with those kinds of people so they can learn. At the same time, you're signaling to people in your ecosystem, I know my stuff. So that's what I'm trying to get this one particular person to do.
I hope that one particular person watches this today. Or if not, we'll clip it and put it up for content. Play it over and over again.
Brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant, but resistant. But I've had other clients who have, ventured into thought leadership and completely doubled down, and they're regularly putting out content on LinkedIn, organic content, on sales strategy, on leadership, on diversity, any of the things that they really care about, they're putting out little bits of that. Sometimes it's a selfie. Hey, I'm at corporate headquarters and we're having a sales event. I'm meeting 200 new colleagues. Doesn't matter, just a little something. And what happened when my client started his new job and he had been already doing this for 9 months, he shows up at a big company event, global company, and these people came up to him and said, I already feel like I know you. I've been following your content.
Yep. It's amazing when you are willing to put yourself out there, and you don't have to say something that's so original it's never been said before. You have to say it in the way that you say it, which makes it original, right? You have to
Absolutely.
say it with your own perspective. But I tell people all the time, I will post the exact same thing I posted on Monday, written in a different way on Tuesday, written in a third way on Wednesday, and a separate way on Thursday. Like, I will do the same thing 6 or 7 times because the same people aren't engaging with it every day. They're not seeing it every day.
Right.
And if on day 3, 4 new people see it and engage with it, then
Yeah.
on day 6, 12 new people will see it and engage with it. And it just keeps growing. And that organic mission of putting myself out there time and time again and being willing for people to say, hey, you repeat yourself a lot. Do you think anybody's ever told me I repeat myself a lot on LinkedIn? No. And I post
Probably
5 or
not.
6 times a day.
Right, because we all have our own lives, our own self-absorptions, the things that we're working on, and that's absolutely true. But I will share with you that I interviewed 2 people and created. I've done a couple articles on thought leadership, and one I interviewed a woman named Lee Caraher. She owns a communications company in San Francisco, and she has a podcast. And the episode of the podcast was, "If you call yourself a thought leader, you're probably not a thought leader." And I was like, I have to talk to this woman. So I interviewed her based on that podcast and then wrote an article about it. And the thing is, it's not about an accolade that you put on your, she literally in the middle of the interview put in the search engine for LinkedIn thought leader. And she's like, oh my gosh, there's 2 million people or whatever, 200 million that call themselves a thought leader. That's not a thought leader. A thought leader is when you're thought of for certain expertise and people are coming to you for that. And there's so many different ways to showcase your expertise. There's not just one way.
Yes, it's when your name is brought up in rooms you are not in.
Yes, thank you. There's that. And then I also interviewed Kathy Armias, and she does TEDx training speaking, like for people that are planning to get on the TEDx stage. And we talked about storytelling and the importance that leaders bring to telling their stories, both personal and otherwise, sharing that wisdom in ways that helps excite people, helps them learn and grow. So storytelling is a really important aspect of leadership and important when we go into interviews.
Yes, it really is. And I will tell you, there's a number of people who want to get their knowledge and expertise out there, but they don't want to do it in a tacky or cringe way. They don't want to be like, people are going to think I just want to be a thought leader. Like, but they do have really great information to share.
Mhm.
You have to stop worrying about what other people are going to think about you. Just put the content out there. It will find the right people. You will find your tribe, and the people who aren't meant to be there won't be there. And don't stress about the people who might not engage, might not resonate, might not like your content. It does not matter. Put
Mhm.
the stuff out there and the people who need it will get it. And I
Mhm.
also will say it's been really interesting to me in the last month. I've had 2, it's actually been a few months now. The year is going by so fast. I've had 2 C-suite leaders both agree to come on the show who are both trying to build their LinkedIn presence, both of pretty large companies, y'all. I'm not even going to tell you who they are yet, but I'm super stoked that I have all of these people who want to come on, want to start sharing their expertise, and they're realizing that LinkedIn is the place to do it.
Yeah,
So y'all, if you're not already posting on LinkedIn, what are you doing? Go make a post today. Share the show. That could be your first post.
totally. Yeah, there's people who I see as your awesome everyday corporate executive who have this amazing LinkedIn presence with a lot of varied content, and it's just natural. Their following is growing, and that's the way to do it. And if you are interested in showcasing your thought leadership and you're wondering how to do that, go on LinkedIn and find people to follow who are really good role models. That's one really great way to do that. And later, when I have a chance, I can put the links to a couple of those articles that will give you inspiration about how to become a thought leader.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, so we did get some comments. People want to vote.
Okay.
So what do you think about telling some people so that they could vote? Like Lindsay says, let's vote. Tom said, yes, let's vote.
Okay. I'm going to give you the
Christopher,
very
you
top
said,
one.
okay.
Okay. So context is my program's Career Velocity. That will be the name of the book. Then it has a subtitle. I've got 9 moving parts to the Career Velocity model, so 9 chapters. And it's all about, we're going to talk about this, Lauren, really developing your unique value proposition, and then marketing yourself with your resume, LinkedIn, job search strategy, networking strategy, and thought leadership. So, book title: Career Velocity: Discover, Define, and Deliver Your Value to Accelerate Your Executive Career.
Oh, I like that.
Do ya?
I do. You don't?
No, that's the one we're circling around. I do.
I like
So
that.
the
I
answer
like
is
that a lot.
some of the
Hold on.
other
Say
phrases,
it one more. Say it one more time.
yeah, career velocity: discover, define, and deliver your value to accelerate your executive career.
Gets a thumbs up from me.
Woo! Okay, well,
What do you guys think in the
I'm
comments?
gonna
Do you
hear
like it?
y'all.
Do you like it? What do we know? I know it takes a minute to load. Oh,
Yeah.
Lindsay made a good point. C-suite execs get 561% more reach just by the nature of their title. Lindsay, where did you get this?
Lindsay, that's insane.
I'm sorry to like ask you to like fact check this, but where did this come from? Because this is really awesome and I'd like to share this with some people, but I'd like to be able to tell them where it came from. Not that I don't believe you. I don't think they will believe me. Okay, Dan. If you call someone a Gina, it's a reverse Karen. Full compliment.
This is like best day ever. Oh my gosh. Thanks,
Mark,
Karen.
I hope you entered for the Sendoso prize because we're giving away chocolate. If you haven't already entered, y'all, chocolate. It is the halfway point of the show. So y'all comment and let us know what you think about Gina's title, and you win some Harvest chocolate. I'm gonna let Gina take a short break. We are going to get Michelle Craig out here. Gina, we'll see you in just a minute.
Okay.
We're going to get Michelle Craig out here and we're going to do my favorite part of the show, High Five Friday, which Michelle comes and does every week because she's so gracious to join us for this. I know it's so annoying sometimes, Michelle, because like you have to show up for me all the time and I never do anything for you every single week. Like ask me to do some more stuff. All right, y'all, we'll get Michelle out here. I love you all. It's Friday. Hope you're having a great day. Here we go.
What is up, y'all? Happy High Five Friday. If this is your first time watching the show, this is a chance where people in our network, our friends, viewers, submit shout outs for themselves, for their friends, their colleagues, and I read them out for you guys to end Friday with a little positivity lifting people up. So let's jump in. First off, we have Tom for Pete. I want to give a high five to Pete. He has helped and continues to help so many people with their careers through his hashtag Open to Help movement on LinkedIn. He's a fountain of generosity and hope in a world so filled with takers. Cheering my rear off for you, my friend. So that's a new one, the cheering my rear off. I like that. Alrighty, we have Andrew for Ben. Ben was my boss and mentor for several years at Accenture Federal Services. His passion and dedication to his employees, the local community, military service members, and his family is unrivaled. I want to thank him for leading by example and setting the bar high so that all of us excelled. Thank you, Ben. Next up, we have Gregory for Elliot. He's organizing the greatest LinkedIn product user town hall ever, which is strongly needed. I would love to see more details on that, Elliot. All right, last but not least, we have Gregory for giving me the most glowing comment on my repost of myself looking for work. I have saved the post and the email that I got from LinkedIn. As a person who is neurodivergent, that moved me deeply. We'd love to see it, y'all. Thank you to everyone who has submitted high fives. Feel free to drop them in for next week. It is never too early.
Thanks, Michelle. High five.
High five.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Have you ever left a high five or did somebody give you a high five? I need to know. I love that Michelle brought that to the show. She used to do that on her own on LinkedIn, and I begged and begged this year for her to come. I didn't really beg. I mean, Michelle's pretty awesome. She agreed pretty quickly. Let's be real. But Michelle brought that to the show, and I'm so thankful for her. Let's get our special guest back. There's Gina. What's up?
I'm still here.
She's still here. She didn't leave. Sometimes people leave at the halfway point. It's only happened once. I would text them. I'm like, come back. It wasn't. It's all right, y'all. It happens. It's a Friday. Sometimes people are just like scatterbrained. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. if you're just joining us because it's 3:30, maybe you just got off a conference call, we're giving away Harvest chocolate. I hope your boss didn't make you have a conference call on Friday. We're giving away Harvest chocolate. Go follow Matt Cross and the Harvest Chocolate crew. You can comment Sindoso to win. You do have to give this to somebody in the U.S., but you can win it from anywhere in the world. All right, we have people who were commenting. I think it's very good and slightly long. Okay. So we got a little feedback that it's long. It is long, but the subtitle I feel like could be long. You got that from your brilliant, I don't know what you got from your brilliant friend, but Samantha McKenna is a brilliant friend to everyone that knows her. She's so cute. She really is just a wonderful human being. I met her in person at Sasser. She's so adorable. Okay. 87.6% of all statistics are made up on the fly. Oh, that's where she got it. She got the statistic about 561% of C-suites. Okay, y'all.
Nice.
Full circle moment. We're bringing it back. Got to drop. Love you, girl. Goodbye. Okay, you're commenting Sendoso. I love it. This person, your privacy settings are not going to allow you to win this. You can either adjust your privacy settings. If that's really annoying to you, you can pop over to YouTube and comment there. I know there's some people that are watching on YouTube. I'm not going to go find the link because I produce this and do all this by myself. That's a lot. But you're welcome to go find it. Lessons with Lauren on YouTube. I know it's streaming there. It's telling me up top that we're live there too. All right. This is the book title idea. Let's put it up big for everyone to see. Oh, it's 12:30 for you guys. Okay, Dan, I'm sorry. It's 3:30 to me for everybody. It's like that 5 o'clock somewhere thing. It's 3:30 somewhere. Okay, let's jump into the last two topics of the day. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
You are ready. Okay. We're going to pop in to using executive presence to propel your career. So before we talk about using it to propel your career for somebody watching, because there's no question that's a dumb question. And they're like, Lauren, I don't know if I got executive presence. What is that? Can you give us, what is executive presence?
Yes. Lauren, this is one of my favorite topics. I spoke to the career thought leaders in Lisbon earlier this year, and I'm heading to Rhode Island to talk to the National Resume Writers Association about executive presence and kind of how to infuse that into the way that we interview, how we help our clients interview. And so executive presence comes from a book by Sylvia Ann Hewlett on executive presence. There's science behind this. There are 3 aspects of executive presence. It's how we look, our appearance, how we speak, how we communicate, and how we behave or act, which is our gravitas. And then there's 17 different micro moving parts under that. And what the science tells us is the very first hurdle that we need to get through is our appearance, which is kind of teeth gnashing for a lot of people. Like, what? My appearance is more important than everything else. It's not more important than everything else. It's the least important, but it's the first hurdle because we as humans are making judgments about each other with that first visual, eyeballs on each other. So you have three seconds to make an impression. 3. That's 250 milliseconds. So how you show up, whether that's on Zoom, for an interview or in person, you are getting evaluated. And once people are like, okay, I've got my judgment about that person, now we're moving into it's how we communicate, how we're reading the room, and then how we're behaving based on that. And that's our gravitas. Of all of the different moving parts, and I've written lots of articles on executive presence too, I personally find reading the room to be one of the most important aspects of executive presence. It's kind of like preparing for any interview situation. You need to read each room, virtual or otherwise, so that you are adapting and adjusting your messaging based on what's coming at you.
Yes. Okay, so I have a good exercise for this. It sounds weird, but it works so well. For reading the room, for people who have a hard time with this, go by yourself. I don't care. Take a book if you want to take a book so you don't feel weird. Go by yourself and sit at a table in a restaurant, a busy restaurant. Sit in a table by yourself at a busy restaurant. And pay attention to the people around you at the tables around you, what they're eating, what they're doing, what they're experiencing, and see if you can come up in your head with what they need before they know they need it. Or if you can notice little things like they don't have salt and pepper. I bet $5 that couple asked for salt and pepper. I'll do little things like this. Or, oh, I heard that couple order a steak. There's no steak knife on the table. pay attention to these things and then go to a corporate setting in a room like that and see if you can read the room 10 times better, because you've honed in on such minute details in the smallest settings that now the big picture is actually pretty easy to see. And it's a lot easier to see what people are doing and to notice their little subtle cues. It's weird, but you catch a lot of these things in a restaurant, and people are more relaxed when they're with their friends and when they're eating. And they'll be a little more nuanced, so you can see the expressions more than if you're in a corporate setting and people are going to be a little more rigid like this. So go to a restaurant and practice.
That is like the coolest exercise. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to do that. But part of one of my superpowers is, if you're familiar with StrengthsFinder, individualization. So kind of my natural brain is assessing. I'm like looking and reading the tea leaves and trying to read the nuances of people's body language. But I do have a story about executive presence gone wrong, if you'd like me to share that.
I would love it.
Okay. And it's going to be the intro to my book. This is what I'm struggling with telling on the page. But I was leading an executive search for a CEO job for a large organization. And I had an hour. This is now the second interview with the top, people funneling to the top. We've already done a screen. So I get on with all the 30 different people. And I start with, in 5 minutes, I want you to tell me about yourself. I just need a quick highlights reel just so I get to know who you are. That's in lieu of reading someone's resume back to them. I have 8 skill-based questions I need to ask you based on what I know the board of directors needs. I'm partnering with the board. I know what they need. So we start off with, tell me about yourself. And this executive level candidate for a CEO job spoke for 20 minutes. I have been asked this question, Gina, you're the recruiter with experience. Why didn't you cut him off? And my answer to that is, my job was to be part of the assessment is their leadership approach, their ability to read the room, the ability to have succinct communication. This was someone that I would not be able to have in that finalist pool to move forward to start meeting with the board.
And it's true. You want to help people and you can give them coaching and feedback. I will say that afterwards, but in the moment, you do have to kind of let things play out. I know a few years ago there was something, and I know this doesn't really have to do with executive presence, but I want to bring this up because we're talking about coaching someone through an interview or maybe not coaching them through an interview. I know a few years ago, a recruiter brought up the fact that she did not help someone get a higher end of a salary range. And that was a bad thing on LinkedIn. A bunch of people got really mad. But I do want to say, to an extent, you do have to do your research. You do have to be able to read the room. You do have to know that what you're putting out there does really matter. Like Gina said, every single person is a decision maker. I am an external recruiter, an agency recruiter. I do not work for the company directly, but I decide what candidates I submit for roles. So in an essence, I'm the immediate decision maker, because if you don't impress me, I'm not submitting you, period, because that's putting my name on this, that I think you would be the right candidate. And if I don't think you'd be the right candidate, I'm not even letting them look at your resume. So every single person is a decision maker. And I will also say, if you're working with an external recruiter, be very specific in your questions to them when you ask, are you submitting me for this job? Because I've met some recruiters who are not specific with their candidates and they do not tell them that they're not getting submitted. So ask that question as well. Know that. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up today.
No, all of it's valid. All of it, there are only so many people that can move forward. I mean, there is a funnel, and does it mean that I'm moving on 5 and number 6 isn't qualified? No, they may have the table stakes. And when we tie it back to executive presence, Lauren, 76% of what we bring to the table is the table stakes. That's what got us the interview in the first place. Hard functional skills. What throws us over the edge? The other percentage is actually 74-26, sorry, is the soft skills, leadership skills, behavior skills, right?
100%. And whatever percentage you say.
It's 74-26. Yeah.
74-26. And I will say, if you have the 74, right? You get into a role and you're doing the thing, that 26% makes up for so much as you grow. And that 26% levels out. The soft skills really, really do matter too. So it is a mix of both to really, I would say, execute using that executive presence, because it's one thing to understand how to have it, but it's another thing to have it and use it consistently to do great things in your career. So if somebody's watching, Gina, and they're like, okay, I think I figured it out. I've got this. I'm going to go. What can I do in my next meeting or in my next event or in my career? What is my next action item to propel my career to the next level?
Are we relating this to executive presence in particular?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that it's important to have mentors or like a personal board of directors is what I call it. Different people that are advisors to you, and that can be a formal or informal kind of thing, relationship that you have with people, but people with different backgrounds and perspectives who can give you honest feedback on any given thing related to your career, whether it's your communication skills, how you're showing up, but you need to have honest advisors who are willing to do that for you. You can also, if you're, let's say, a leader and you want to do kind of a 360 and you could even work with a coach who helps you do some kind of survey to accumulate information on the perception of your executive presence, because sometimes people don't actually know what the blind spots are. There's things that we as women do in particular, and I'm not saying it's you or me right now, but one thing to watch out for is the uptick at the end of saying a particular sentence. So, when I'm talking like this and I end with an uptick and it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? That is disempowering. It takes away your executive presence.
Have you seen that viral video of Paris Hilton when she's like testifying or something? But really, and like there's that moment where the voice shifts and it's her persona voice, and then she's getting serious on the issue, and there's that moment where it's, okay, Gina, and you look so cute today, but what women really need, and it's like that shift, and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's impressive. But the moment changed and you could just see people kind of sit up, and now people are paying more attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? This is ironic that we're talking about this particular topic of executive presence. I don't know if you saw any clips from yesterday's LinkedIn Live with Carrie Lynn Shaw and David and Dan Roth. Sorry, Dan. It was such a masterclass in executive presence. Carrie Lynn's speech pattern and her ability to deliver the content with thought and execution in a measured way was like, yes, you just did it. It was a masterclass. I was completely sitting at the edge of my seat listening.
I know, I had to catch the replay, but I was in there. I was like, yes. I was like going to comment. I'm like, oh, it's not live, man.
Yeah. And Dan just did a masterful job facilitating the conversation. The whole thing was just gold. So if you want to get some really great content on salary negotiation, go to Dan Roth's profile and go check that out. It's really good.
Yeah, he was a really good host. Dan, I don't actually have to explain this anymore because Paris Hilton has like an energy drink line, so all the kids know her. We're fine. People know. And she's like also the new face of Hilton. Have you seen the commercial? She's like walking around the Hiltons and all pink. It's beautiful. Like, I don't know. It's not a bad ad campaign, to be honest. I'm sitting here talking about Hiltons and I'm a Marriott person. So, okay, we have 15 more minutes. We still have to do the giveaway and we have another important topic. So the next topic we're going to get into is understanding your unique value proposition, which is Gina's specialty. But really quick, I'm going to play a video. Gina, what do we have coming up that we're doing together?
Oh, are we we're going to make people laugh? Is that
No. What do we have coming up that we're doing together?
What do you do? Oh, sorry. Okay. I just lost my marbles. We are together next Thursday, Friday, going to be online 2 days straight for Entry Careers Boot Camp for job seekers. And we have, about a dozen coaches who have all different areas of expertise: recruiting, human resources, salary negotiation, unique value proposition, interview prep, you name it, job search strategy. And then Entry Careers has the ATS technology to help make an ATS friendly resume out of like the resumes that the job seekers will end up getting. So that is what we are doing.
Yes, and I have 2 full days reserved for this, which is crazy for me. I don't block off 2 days for anyone, and there's still a couple spots left. So I'm gonna play a quick video of some of the testimonials from the last one we did, and then I know there's some awesome people watching. Maybe Dan, you'll drop the link for us if you're still around. But let's play this really quick, and here you go.
Uncertain how to navigate emerging job search technologies? Discontented in your current role and unsure of the path forward? Aspiring to advance your career but requiring strategic direction? We got you. Land your dream job with our 2-day boot camp, featuring top subject matter experts to guide you through the intricacies of today's job market. Our agenda covers job market trends, resume crafting, personal branding, networking, recruiter engagement, mental health, and interview techniques. Expect targeted advice, actionable strategies, and personalized interactions from our experts to enhance your job search effectiveness. To learn more, go to events.entreecareers.com.
Yeah, I love it when somebody else makes a video and I don't have to make it. And I'm like, it's good. I don't have to do it.
Way to go, Entry.
Yes, I think Valeska helped make that. Jen, thank you guys for making that for us to play here. But y'all, let's get into understanding your unique value proposition. Gina, take us away.
UVP. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to think of this. Some will say unique selling proposition. There's, I say unique value proposition. And the way that I've constructed it is it's really understanding what your unique strengths, those are your natural talents from StrengthsFinder, what your values are, your personality, and the things that you really love to do, the skills that motivate you to do your work. So that is kind of like an anchor for your, what goes into your unique value proposition. And then we start to tease out, and we're doing this in the entry boot camp. So if you sign up, you need to sign up today because you have homework. You got all this pre-work to do that I've set up for you. So what you're doing is you're teasing out the details of your career and then finding your through line. And some of us have curvy, twisty careers. There's still a through line. You have one of those, but that's okay. Every story can be told. And so what we do is we help you break that down into segments so that you can find your through line and so that you can finally answer the question, tell me about yourself in less than 5 minutes, because it's not an elevator pitch. The thing about the elevator pitch that drives me a little crazy is it's really a 60 to 90 second thing that you say if you were stuck on an elevator and then someone's jumping off and you're just really exciting them about, what you do. That isn't your unique value proposition. You need to be able to say, here's what I do, here's what I stand for, here's how I help, and these are the results that I get when I apply my talent. That gets the conversation started with a recruiter like Lauren.
Yes. And getting all the way to the results piece matters. And this is the other thing I'll say is people start to learn this and they start to hone in on it, but they can't successfully get to the end in the right amount of time. So I tell a lot of people when I'm having these conversations, for me, Gina, you say everything so much more eloquently than I do. But I tell people, for me, your unique value proposition isn't just your unique value proposition. It's also understanding when to shut your mouth.
That's reading the room.
But also in this part, there are things I want to say to Gina that I wouldn't say to Lauren. There are things I want to say to, say, a Tom as we move up to whoever I'm in. Like, there are different things I would say at different points. So your unique value prop is that, but at different moments, that changes too.
It does. All of that matters, right? So when you meet with that recruiter for the first time, that tell me about yourself is important. You may say some nuance, some variation of that when you get to the hiring manager, et cetera. But if I could thread this back to the thought leadership conversation that we had, and one of my clients, global sales leader, started a thought leadership campaign, if you will, before he moved into the next global role. And he sent me a text and he said, Gina, I am using the UVP all the time because my company is even bigger than the last company, and I'm constantly meeting new people. You can use this UVP when you go to dinner with your partner and you're being introduced to another couple, or at a cocktail party, or at a networking event, or when you're interviewing with Lauren. You can use it all the flipping time.
All the time. And sometimes use it in random places. I find it sometimes, and also y'all, I'm a recruiter. When I go out and people ask me what I do, I don't always say I'm a recruiter. I don't want to get into that. It's not fun all the time. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's awful. But most of the time I will say, oh, I run an agency, and I'll just like wait and see like kind of how the conversation progresses before I decide how much information I'm giving out. But sometimes you find out you're sitting next to a CFO who needs to hire. And now it's like, okay, what's my UVP in this scenario? And how am I about to bring it into this conversation? And how are we turning the conversation to switch it to this conversation now? You never know who you're going to be around. So I also want to say, think about using it in times when you're not really prepared to, because you're prepared when you're in a networking event. You're prepared when you're at work. I don't know, some of you go stand in the corner and do the Superman pose for a few minutes to like get super confident, right? That's a really good tip actually before an interview, y'all. If you've never done the Superman pose, if you want to hear about this, we'll do it in another episode, but just Superman that before your interview for 5 minutes. You will feel phenomenal. I don't even know where I'm going now that I'm Supermaning live on LinkedIn. What's happening right now, Gina? Okay, but you do this before the interview. Be confident and be ready to use your UVP in any scenario, in any place you are. Because if somebody just randomly walks up to you and you randomly find out you're sitting next to the person that is the person that you've been wanting to talk to, or whatever, maybe Sally at PTA happens to be hiring at Merrick that you want to apply at, maybe that's going to happen. You never really know. So put yourself out there and talk about yourself and have conversations, and be ready to have this conversation even when you're not ready.
I could not agree with you any more. All of that, because you can use it really, you can pivot and use it at any point. And we in the entry boot camp break this down into the micro moving parts. Like it's a technical aspect of our program. We show you all the moving parts, and then you put it together and you get a chance to try it out and practice it. In fact, I just did a workshop just on the UVP at a huge company alumni event. And we walked through these moving parts, and then everyone got together and tested it with each other. And then they gave each other feedback. Oh, why don't you add a little bit of this, or why don't you take a little bit of this out, because that's not helping. So test your UVP with people who you can get real feedback from.
Love it. And if you join the boot camp, you test it with us, and we give you so much feedback.
We are honest people.
We are honest, and listen, we're gonna give you actionable feedback that you're actually gonna like walk away better. It's not going to be sugar coated. It's not going to be something that you just walk away feeling better about yourself, because the number one thing that I find when I work with job seekers in my job search strategy sessions is that everybody just sugarcoats things and tries to make people feel better. And you're not getting this job. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Next time, keep your head up. No, you need somebody who's going to give you the truth. You need somebody who's going to tell you what you're missing, and who's going to point you in the right direction and say, take these steps so that you can have actionable change. And that's what you're going to get in this boot camp. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Last chance. Comment Sendoso. Did you go comment? You need to go comment Sendoso. I know you want to win this chocolate.
I do.
Comment Sendoso if you would like to win the chocolate. I will move us. Let's show them. Oh, my big face on the chocolate again. Oh, here. Let's put us over here. There you go. Now you can see our face.
Right, I'm in there.
Harvest chocolate. This actually looks really good. It looks like you get 4 little mini packs, and I think the chocolates all come from like different countries or something. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me. If you get it, I want to see a video of you and your chocolate. Sometimes I start to echo. All right. You and your chocolate. Are we ready? Let's do the drawing. Okay, there you are. Whoever this is, you got to go to YouTube. You got to go.
LinkedIn user. We need to know who you are for the.
It's your privacy settings. This is when I say it's you, not me. I'm so sorry, but that's the truth.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. You can choose to be private and anonymous, or you can choose to show up. Okay, Gina, before we draw, I'll give you a little bit of warning. I don't know if you've thought about it in the last hour, but would you give everybody a fun Friday fact?
Fun Friday fact. Can I tell you a fun Friday fact about myself?
I would love one.
Would you? Okay.
I
So
would.
when I give presentations and my friend and I like introduce each other, and you're supposed to tell a fun fact about somebody around you, the fun fact that I usually share is that I am an absolutely masterful old-fashioned maker and margarita maker.
You know, I have an old-fashioned tattoo on my wrist.
What? Soul sister.
And a shaker 10.
Stop it. Well, we did not plan this, people.
There's my fun Friday fact. I just showed you guys my tattoos. These are
Seriously,
my best
she told me 55 minutes ago I needed to either be funny and I just pulled out the fun fact. That is insane.
I love
Oh
it.
my
Oh,
gosh.
next time
Yeah.
we'll just have to drink old fashions on LinkedIn Live together.
Can we please? Hey, when my book comes out,
Yes.
and
Come
then
back. We'll give away a copy. We'll drink old fashions. We'll make some live. I have this really fun trick where I use the lighter and I flame the orange peel and it everywhere.
Oh, stop it. I want to like dehydrate my oranges. That's what I want to do next is like,
Okay.
make them all pretty, but
Yeah.
I don't have a dehydrator. So there's that. And then the margarita is always fresh. Lemon.
Always
fresh
fresh.
squeezed, gotta
Always
have.
fresh, no triple sec, maybe spicy.
Oh my gosh. The like a cayenne or spicy pepper
Tahini.
with salted rim.
Yeah, the tahini rim.
Stop it. Oh
Yes, here we go. Okay, I let you guys, we talked for a minute so that you would get there. Okay, we're going to draw. Are you ready? Comment, hashtag Sendoso, one last chance. Oh, we got 2 more in there. Oh, hold on really quick. Dan says, if you have an air fryer, you can have a dehydrator. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's draw. How many people entered today? 10 of you entered to win the chocolate. Who do you think it's going to be? Can you see the screen? Let's go. Tom, Louis, Gina, Mark. I can't even read all the names. They're going so fast. Who's it going to be? Tom. What's up, Tom? Dan, earlier you said that I was talking about Tom from MySpace. I was not. I was talking about this Tom when I referenced to Tom because he follows the show a lot. Tom, thank you for being a supporter. I'm so excited to get you this chocolate. I think I already have your email address, but DM it to me again just in case. Thank you for coming, Brian. We so enjoy it when you guys show up. Like I said, if you guys don't come, we don't get to do the show. So thank you, Gina. We're also going to have a late night show one night this year. So maybe I'll send you the link and we can drink old fashions. We'll do like a cocktail class. What do you think?
So would love that. Yeah, I'm down.
I know we do Friday live with Lauren. We're going to do a late night live one night, like see how it goes.
That'll be like mayhem. So for those who like mayhem,
we're going to do a test run for next year to see if we're adding in a second nighttime show.
Okay.
All right. You guys, this was so fun. Gina, any final words for the people?
Oh, gosh. My final words are, if you are a job seeker, you're tuning in because you really are trying to make that next career transition. Got to have a strategy. You really got to know what you offer. You got to have succinct communication. And go ahead, try some thought leadership.
It's not that scary. All right, y'all. This was fun. But you know what I always say? If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.